Hey, welcome to the Aloha Friday Marketing Jam Session. My name is Tom Gaddis, my business partner and New York resident Nick Ponte on the call with us as well.
Be saying
Welcome.
that.
What's that?
Do not be saying that. I'm not a New York resident. I'm visiting. I'm visiting.
It feels like you're a New York resident.
I'm a visitor.
A visitor, New York visitor and tourist. Welcome. We have an exciting show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about creating your client getting playbook and how one of the things that a lot of people lack is a plan. And we can help you put a plan together on this live show. Lots of good stuff. So grab a cool drink, get a comfy chair. I'm going to cue the intro and we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Are you ready for the fastest 60 minutes of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun on planet Earth? It's now time. The moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Broadcasting live from their island retreats, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and now back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Listen to the crowd.
That's us. That's us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Welcome, everybody. Aloha, Richard.
What's
Aloha,
up, Richard?
Chandra. Frank the Tank.
Frank.
Welcome. Yeah, glad you could make it on the live. Excited to be here. Man, it's like cloudy and drizzling rain outside. And I have just felt like it has been hard to get my energy up today. I literally, before we were on here, we're like, okay, got to get excited. I don't know. Does anybody on this live right now, do you have those days where where it's hard to get up your energy and you're just like, I'm supposed to go to the gym at 5 o'clock today, Nick. And I'm like, I've been going in my head, I can just cancel. I should just cancel. Then I'm like, no, don't get back and forth. Right. Just kind of felt blah. Anybody else out there feel that way from time to time?
I think we all feel that way from time to time. But I know for you, it's Friday and you're trying to get to the casino. Let's just be realistic.
Oh, yeah. The casino's open today. I forgot about that. One thing I noticed, casinos are so helpful.
Are they?
Oh, man, they park your car. They have daycare for your kids. They put movie theaters, bowling alleys right in there. I mean, they're just so helpful. Just so helpful. It's amazing. Yeah, no, well, the reason I bring that up about the, just kind of feeling blocked, that's really how I've kind of felt this morning, right? But, it really illustrates why it's so important to have a plan, right? Which is what we're talking about on the show. Because even though that's the way I feel today, I'm still getting stuff done because we have a plan, right? Every Friday, we have a team huddle with Cameron, Nick, myself. We do that in the mornings. We talk about what's going on, what we're working, all those kinds of things, right? And we do that every Friday. It never fails. It always happens, right? And because we have that plan in place, because I have a plan of already making a commitment to go to the gym at 5 o'clock today, I'm still going to go to the gym, right? I had a plan in place so that regardless of my emotional state, I'm still able to at least get the important things done, right? Now, sometimes you feel this way and it's you just do what you need to do and you're like, that's all I can take. But at least you get those things done, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And, sometimes you'll go, when you have those types of days, you'll go through with your plan and you'll find out that, hey, you weren't able to go 100% at the gym that day, but you were able to go and show up and at least, show up and do something, right? Break a sweat, whatever it is, if we're using the gym analogy. Same thing with prospecting. Same thing with, everything. If it's prospecting, it's maybe you had a goal to hit 50 people today and you tried your very best to send out 50 emails or direct messages or phone calls or whatever it was, and you're only able to do 25. That's not the goal you were trying to hit, but you moved the ball forward, and that's really what it comes down to every single day, right? Just better than yesterday. Yeah, obviously, you want to hit those goals, but better than yesterday.
Yeah, or even if you were only able to make 5 calls and you're just you're absolutely right. One of the biggest, I don't know if you call it an aha moment, but one of the biggest realizations for me has been like, yeah, you can't go 150% every single day, 365 days a year. But the important part is that you just go. Like, even like you put a plan in place and then you show up consistently for that plan. And that really like does a lot more than you think, right? Like, I don't know, sometimes I think it's just more like just showing up on a consistent basis is such a big part of it, regardless of the amount of work you do. And some days you'll do more, some days you do less, but that plan is super important. And in the beginning for us, for those of you that are maybe just starting out, like in the beginning, our plan was we would for me, I would sit down on Sunday night and be like, hey, look, okay, this is what I want to get done by the end of the week. And I would just map out some little things like, here's the days I'm going to spend prospecting. Here's when I'm going to do this. Here's when I'm going to do that. Right. Then I would communicate all that stuff with my family. Like, hey, on this day from especially my wife, like, look, we don't make any plans these times. I was setting myself up for success. Right. And then just sticking to those plans and those things. And I know you, Nick, used to use the old write everything down the night before, like you still do that, right? Yeah.
These are my most valuable tools in business right here. Post-its and a legal notepad. And
it seems so simple, but it's so true. Like here, I have mine right here too.
Every single day. Does anybody else subscribe to that model where you, at the end of every day, you write down what you need to do tomorrow? That way you can just kind of disconnect from whatever it is that you were kind of going hard on all day. I mean, for me, I have all these things that I wanted to do that I wrote down last night. And then there are a lot of smaller tasks that I have to do in order to get those bigger goals finished. But at the end of the day, after working very hard, I want to just like unplug and give my mind a break, which is difficult. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that too, being the entrepreneurs and sharks that you are. If I write it down, I'm able to like just let it go and then, read something else to unwind and finish the evening or whatever it is. I saw Richard said he had a 9-hour lunch yesterday. That might be, and he's very hungover. That might be a way that other people unwind as well. But you need to have that disconnect, and then you need to be able to come in the very next day and pick up right where you left off and attack the day every single day again. And if you do that every single day, you're gonna see some serious progress from where you started. And I do remember getting started and seeing people that had agencies and going to their website and being blown away and thinking to myself like, wow, they have this amazing website and maybe they had a lead magnet and I downloaded the lead magnet and there was an email that came, and thinking to myself like, I don't have any of that stuff. It's going to take me so long to get all of that stuff, and feeling overwhelmed and almost stopping me from getting started, right? But really, those people didn't just show up one day and have all that stuff. They did it little by little by little, and they did it by staying on task, staying prioritized, and following through with a little bit every single day.
Yeah, and I think you said prioritizing and staying on task, I think, are two big important things you mentioned there, Nick, because when it comes to growing an agency, right? Like, you're right. There are a lot of things out there that need our attention, right? And from building our own website to, deciding what services we're going to do to, how are we going to fulfill those services, maybe learning those, like there's a lot of information to learn, absorb, to become good at what you need to do in running an agency. Not to mention, maybe you're like me and you're just not even good at being an entrepreneur. Like that's a whole skill and thing you have to learn along the way too, right? Along with a ton of other stuff. It's important, I think, to keep in mind, like when you're talking about building an agency, right? Like, even though you're learning those things in the background, you really have to kind of keep your eye on the prize, the bigger prize, which is to generate revenue. You're going to have to do some type of prospecting, right? So making sure that you have your plan in place for the prospecting, I think is super critical. And not just planning out like, these are the days that I'm going to do it, right? But like, you start there and you say, okay, well, like, what's my prospecting plan going to be? Whether that's reaching out to people in your network, whether that's going to a BNI meeting, whether that's doing cold email, whether that's doing cold calling, like whatever your plan is, like structuring that having a plan for that, right? Like, okay, I'm going to shoot some Loom videos, doing some little audits of sites I come across that have issues that I think I can help with. I'm going to send those out, right? So my plan is I'm going to do so many of those a week. And if somebody responds, I'm going to send them to my discovery form to fill out information on their project. I'm going to set up a meeting, like having just a plan in place. And that is a very simple plan that would work like gangbusters, right? These doing like little Loom video audits, reaching out to people and saying, hey, look, I came across your website. I happen to help electricians, get better exposure online. I noticed a couple things, thought you might want to work with. If you're interested to find out more, let me know. Here's a link to book an appointment. Like those kinds of things really are effective when you do them consistently, right? And you don't have to do any cold calling. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. It's a process and a system that we've used for a while, and a process and a system that we teach at every level in Offline Sharks, right? Like we talk about it in all the levels, even in our private, our remote millionaires private coaching, which is a higher priced course. We still talk about this exact same method because it's effective, it works, and it's something that most people can really do consistently regardless of their schedule, right? And so even though it's a very simple plan, it's one of the easier plans to implement and to stick to, and you get better and better at it and all those kinds of things. It's got a lot of stuff going for it. And in fact, we actually were this week, you probably saw in our emails, we've been talking about this, right? The new business blitz, the plan. And, one of the things we like to do at Offline Sharks, a lot of the stuff we put in our products is to help you put a plan together that works for you, right? That's why you see, our products really aren't made to be like, you shouldn't buy all of them. Like you should pick the ones that relate to what you're trying to do in your business and those kinds of things. And we put together a little package of some of our past products that will help you get the plan in place that I just talked about, right? You can actually, we have the website Fast Cash website audits, which is a great course that shows you how to do these audits. We've even charged for these audits. Like we do a more involved audit where we charge, right? $250, $500 for them. Like it's kind of like a first step with a client. We also have Local Fee Finder in there, which is our little software plugin that helps you make those easy to do discovery forms for your website. And then Remote Client System, which is about what I was just talking about, using the Loom videos to do client outreach and things like that. So it's a really great package. All three of those things are, I think, a couple of $100 each normally, but we drastically marked the prices down just for a few days. So if you haven't seen the email, stick around. We'll drop a link so you can check it out at the end of the live. But I just wanted to kind of mention it because it relates to so much of what we're talking about with building a plan and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those video audits, that they're just so effective. Has anybody on this call done one of those little video audits using a screen share tool like Loom or ScreenFlow, or maybe use Camtasia? The reason I ask is we do them every single day. Like if I'm not doing them directly myself, then somebody on my team is. And, I at the end of every day, I see the stats. Our team at my office, they share the stats of how many people they reached out to, who they reached out to, how they reached out to them, where they came from. And you can use these little screen share audits to really compound what you're doing. So I'll give you an example of that. So if any of you are using any sort of like email or SMS marketing, like let's say you have any kind of audience whatsoever, it could be a Facebook group, it could be any of that stuff. So if you make a post in your Facebook group about something and people engage with that post and they ask questions, those people are like the people that I want you to go after and look at what they have going on with their online presence. Those are the people that you would be auditing. That's a great and easy win because those people are going to respond to your emails, your prospecting, and your videos right away. So one of the things that we do too is we use like our AGM website, Hawaii Thrive. We give away listings to businesses every single day, and we're building a massive email list, and we have been for a couple of years now. So we have this big email list, and we're sending emails regularly about like news and updates about the business and updates in Hawaii and things that are going on within our business. And we're looking at the stats of all those emails we're sending out. And if anybody clicks on one of those emails and they open the email and they click on one of the links, that's a signal to us that they're interested in something that we're talking about. So we and the people on our team will use that as just a little thread to start to locate who these people are and find a way in to help them. So they'll send an email, they'll look at the engagement, they'll see who opens, who's clicked, who's hyper engaged, somebody that's more engaged than just opening it. And they will go look at that person, do a little research on them, look at their Facebook page, look at their website, see how they're ranking, see if they have a Google My Business, and then they'll shoot a Loom video and just keep it short, 5 minutes, about whatever they found, ways that they can improve, give value right away up front, and then have a call to action at the end of that video saying, if you want, I've got a little space left this month, I can help you with that. And you'd be surprised at what type of response you'll be getting if you just follow the basics of that, what I've outlined for you. I mean, you can do that right now. All of you can do that right now. And you don't even have to have an email list. You can do that cold too. We have people, a ton of people actually, not just a few people. We have a lot of people that do that completely cold and get traction with that. So it's a great client getting method, and it teaches you a lot at the same time. You don't actually have to be on camera. If you want to be on camera, that's great, but it helps you to start to get your pitch. It helps you to start to find your voice. A lot of you that haven't talked to prospects before, for like me, in the early days, I didn't really have my voice. I didn't know the tone of speaking to someone about marketing and hearing about their problems and giving them solutions. And shooting these simple screen share audits will help you find your voice, get you more comfortable talking about this stuff. At the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen is you don't get a response, right? That's the absolute worst thing you can happen. So the fear of, judgment or failing or whatever, it's not even really there. It's just made up. And so, if you struggle with getting your voice, getting comfortable on camera, speaking about marketing, prospecting, it's a great way to get started and just kind of learn the ropes.
Yeah, it is. And there's a couple of things you can do with them too. Like you can record them and not send them out. Like you can just record practice ones and review them and, look at all your ones. It's got a lot of really great things going for it. And I know the thing you laid out was pretty simple. One thing I would say is like, you don't even need software or anything to find your leads. Like look around your area, build a list of 25 to 50 businesses that you see already spending money on advertising. So just look around, pay attention. Like anytime you see somebody running an ad, doing a radio commercial, like just make a list, 25 to 50. And then those are the ones you go after for your Loom videos. Like just don't fire up the camera, look at their website, look at their Google My Business page, see what you can find. And then when you find an issue you can help with, make a video. If you just do that and get through those first 25 to 50 and then don't start with their website sucks. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if you just start with that, and then when you're done with those, do another 25 to 50, you'll eventually have so much activity going on. It'll be hard to keep track. Yeah, Nick, I do want to answer this question before it gets lost in the feed here. Because somebody asked, I don't know who this is. They asked, what tools can I use in the mailer to find addresses in town? So I'm not sure who this is, but with the mailer that we teach, CCSU, we don't need a list of addresses. So we use a tool called Every Door Direct Mail, and that allows us to email based on routes. So we never have to buy a list or find email addresses. So if you're looking for email addresses to do the mailer itself, that's not how we do it. I don't know what you need the addresses for. So if you're just looking to find addresses, you're going to have to find some other tool, or you're going to have to find a software tool, or you're going to need to buy a list, something like that. Okay, sorry. I wanted to answer that before.
Oh, yeah. If anybody, for those of you that this is your first time in this live show, if you have any questions at all, Tom and I are here. We make ourselves available every week for an hour in this Facebook group or wherever you're watching to hang out, answer questions, give feedback, show our support, and just interact with everybody that, has been following us or has purchased one of our products or has questions. So that's what this is for. If you ever do have questions, show up and ask them. Make use of our time here. We're happy to help, in any way we can. So good question.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Nick, we're going to take some more questions on this. So if you have questions, pop them in. We're going to talk some more about this. But before we get too far along in the live show, I wanted to take a minute to acknowledge our shark shout outs this week. So every week, we like to recognize people that are having success in the group, that are closing business, getting checks, sealing deals with clients. People share it all the time in the Facebook group. We like to put a little collage of them together. We call them shark shout outs. And here, let me pull up the screen. And I want to share our shout outs with you today. Really, Facebook, man, Facebook. You used to be able to close this thing on the left-hand side here. Now you can. Can you? Yes. Okay, there we go. It wasn't Facebook. It was me.
It was you.
I'm going to try to make this a little bigger. It was getting really irritating. Okay, well, that's about as big as I can make it. Okay, so these are our shark shout outs for this week. I know it looks kind of small, so I'm going to read these. One thing you should do is if you go over to this link that I'm about to pop on the screen, where did it go? There you go. You go to this link and let these folks know, great job. You can see all the shout outs, read them for yourself. And then we like to give away some Cash App money at the end of the show for anybody that leaves a comment there. So go over there, blow up the feed. I'm going to read these out while you guys are doing that. So our first shark shout out goes to our friend from across the pond, Jacqueline Heath. She sold an 8-week course for social media strategy planning to 3 clients at $480 each. So she's will run Google Ads campaigns, $310 a month, and LinkedIn management for the third client at $100 a month. That's an awesome week right there, Jacqueline.
That really is. And actually, before we move on to the other shout outs, I have a question for everybody here, because I spoke with Jacqueline after I saw this post come in, because I think it was a pretty cool one, just hearing that rather than selling a service, she gave up some consulting, really. And I know that all of you on this call can do that. So for those of you that are interested in what Jacqueline is doing with that, put a 1 in the chat box for me so I can get a good idea, because I spoke with her briefly and we haven't really ironed out the details yet, but I'm interested in hearing more about what she's doing and possibly coming up with, more of a clear-cut idea, and maybe something that we can share with the sharks so that you guys can replicate it too, and see how she's doing it, what her take is, and what her spin in it is. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Jacqueline. She's been a member of our community for quite some time now, and so if we get a good enough response, which I'm sure we will, I think we can put something together, and I think you guys will really like it. And I see your feedback coming in, so I appreciate it, Doug and Bill and Sarah and everybody else. Okay, good to know. Yeah, so we're gonna connect with Jacqueline more about what she's doing. But yeah, excellent job.
Yeah, way to go, Jacqueline. Way to go. And I think that'd be awesome to bring to the sharks. That strategy of, who wouldn't want basically a $500 client, right? And all you have to do is give them access to this little course you created. Pretty sweet deal. All right, our next shout out goes to Carissa Dobson. I love those glasses there. Carissa sold a 3-page website for $350 using Website Client System as a foot in the door. That's for Jacqueline and Carissa there. Congratulations, ladies. That's awesome, Carissa. Yeah, that template makes it so easy to do those sites for that price and still be profitable. So way to go. Our next, did you have anything you wanted to say about that, Nick?
No, that's amazing.
Okay. Our next shout out goes to Devin Atkins. Look at that well-dressed shark in that picture there. Suspenders and the bow tie. I love it. Devin sold a logo design for $500. Real estate marketing, $800 per month on a 3-month commitment. It's pretty good. $2,400 right there. And then a real estate business paying him $750 per month as an inside sales agent. So congratulations, Devin. That's awesome, man. Awesome to see you on the shout outs there. Our next shark shout out goes to I always say it wrong. Caroline. I think it's Caroline is how you're supposed to say it. I always want to pronounce it like my mom's name. Caroline James, she sold a 9x12 postcard. This was awesome, by the way. I saw this post. This was great. She sold an entire 9x12 postcard to a nonprofit. So they're taking the whole card to share their Roundup fundraiser. Like, I mean, that deserves applause.
Let me get some clap. Let me get some clapping going.
Yeah, I mean, they took the whole card. I mean, that's great.
That is,
fantastic work.
So what do you do in that situation? I mean, you give them a little bit of a discount, I'm sure.
You could, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of flexibility there, right? Like a lot of flexibility. So if they're going to take the whole mailer, you can adjust just whatever you want to profit and get your foot in the door and do all that stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's really great. One of the other strategies we talk about in CCSU is something we call the sponsored mailer strategy. And that's where like you instead of branding the card to your business, like you would go find like an insurance agent, or you could find like a real estate agent, and you would brand the card to them. So like on our mailer where it typically says Hawaii Thrive, we would have the real estate agent's name, address, maybe their picture. And then you have the businesses. So you can actually sell that space, right? I'll brand the card to your business. It's going to go out to 10,000 and you just charge whatever you want to charge. Or you can do something with like an insurance agent where the agent actually pays for the entire card. And then you brand it with their insurance agent information that goes to consumers. But then the ads on each side, you let them give those ads to their current business insurance clients or give them away to people they're trying to get their business from. So imagine you're an insurance agent and you're wanting to ramp up the business side of your insurance policies. Well, let's say you have 5 businesses that you provide insurance to. You go to them and you're like, hey, I really value you as a customer. I'm doing this mailer that I'm sending out. I'm giving you a free spot on it. Just give me your ad information. We'll put it on there. Then you go and you reach out to businesses that you want to provide insurance to, and you say, hey, I'm doing this thing. I thought of you. Would you be interested in a free spot? Like that reciprocity thing, right? But the agent's really like paying for everything, and then you're doing the work for the agent, right? Getting the ads designed for them, putting it all together. So the agent gets exposure for their consumer insurance and their business insurance all at the same time. You could even do that with schools, right? You could go to a school and brand a mailer around a school and maybe use the profits to fund the PTA. All kinds of things you can do with that thing, right? So awesome. Let's see. Our next shout out goes to Jack Daly. I always want to say Daly. First mailer completed and should be in the mailboxes any day now. He and his wife are expecting to launch their AGM site over the weekend. So congratulations, Jack. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, I know he's been working, or they have been working really hard on that. It's cool to see it come to fruition for sure.
Yeah. Peter sold a domain name he's been holding on to for $450.
What?
A little domain name flipping.
Hell yeah. That's a win.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm curious how he found the buyer. Is he like cold emailing, or is he doing research and then reaching out to people that are, maybe more interested because they have a domain close to that. But there are people that are out there that they make, full-time income with just domain flipping, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then our final shout out goes to you, Mr. Nick Ponte. Picked up 3 new clients this week. One new website, $3,500 plus $1,500 a month.
Yes.
$1,500 a month Google ad campaign and a $1,500 a month another Google ad campaign. So
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, would anybody like my sales calls from that, by the way? So those 2 clients that I recorded the calls, right? I always do. Now, I've been taking more and more sales calls because I'm trying to help my team, learn or hear what I'm saying and how I'm overcoming objections with customers. And I'm practicing my sales. I suck at sales, but I'm practicing. But I feel like these 2 calls that I had in the last couple of days were solid. Some of my best ever. So I was thinking maybe I could go back and download those calls, Tom, because I have them, and I could edit out the details of the customer, right? I don't want to share their information, but do you think we should give those calls away to anybody that picks up the playbook?
The new business blitz. That is a good idea.
How about
this?
That would be
awesome.
I'll give one away. I'll just give one away. And the other one we'll give to everybody that gets the playbook or the blitz.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's a great deal. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.
You know, that, by the way,
write that down on my Post-it to clear those details out of those calls for you.
So, you know what, just so you guys know, just in last week alone, that's $14,300 in closed business in our shark community from those people, right? So, and we don't know about all the people that don't report in, but really awesome job, Offline Sharks. It's, I mean, anytime we can get that number over 10,000 a week, like money you're making, like it just makes me warm. Like I'm feeling a lot better about today, Nick. Maybe I will go to the casino. I think, you know what? You talked me into it. Me into it.
Twisted your arm right off. That was real tough. Yeah, no, but that, I mean, that truly is ever since we started adding that metric into our show notes, you know, Shashan, our community manager, has really done a fantastic job putting those together for us every week. And you know, that number is so powerful. It really is, because like we always say, those are just the people that we know about. Imagine all the people in our group that are like on the fringe, like me. Like I go to Facebook groups and I never post in them. I'm just in them most of the time, except for ours. I post in ours. Yeah. But I don't have time to be posting in all these other Facebook groups. So I know that people are out there taking action and they're not even saying anything. And so seeing that number every single week and just the people that are engaged and sharing it, I mean, it's just a testament to how awesome our community is.
Yeah, really, really awesome. And speaking of how awesome our community is, we also like to celebrate one outstanding member every week that we acknowledge as member of the week, right? Somebody who is a good steward of our community, who's really, you know, putting into practice what we talk about inside the group all the time, taking action and just being a general all around good person. We call it our very clever title, huh? We call it Member of the Week.
Yeah. Did you pay big money to have that one written out for you?
I did. Big money. So here, I want to share our Member of the Week this week. I know. Here we go. Let me get this on the screen so you can see this. I don't know if you may have guessed already who it is, but our Member of the Week this week is our lovely friend from across the pond, Jacqueline Heath. And for those of you that, way to go, Jacqueline. And, you know, for those of you that may be new to our Offline Sharks community, Jacqueline has an amazing story because, you know, she came into our community. She's a teacher. She was a teacher. And she got laid off and she was looking I think she got laid off. She was looking to do something else. She started working on building an agency. She struggled for a while. Then she started getting some traction. Right when she started getting some traction, she got offered like her dream teaching job. And she was faced with this decision, like go back to that or stick with this dream that she has in doing her own business. And, you know, she made I don't know what you would call it. She made the hard call. Like that's a tough decision, right? Security is something, you know, something you're just getting started with. You don't know if it's going to work out. She decided to move forward with her agency. And she has just like, I mean, it seems like from our side, she hasn't looked back since. She's been getting clients, doing deals, doing her thing. She had to deal with some health issues for a while, and then she was able to get back within her clients because she did such good work. So anyway, it's been an amazing journey to watch. And she's always posting in the Facebook group, very willing to share, help out, offer advice. So, you know, make sure you let her know inside the Facebook group how much we appreciate her, how much she's a valued member of this community. And Jacqueline, somebody from our team is going to be reaching out to you for some special Offline Shark surprises. So
true. I mean, we've seen such an incredible journey there and even more to come. I'm excited to do a little more of a deep dive on what she had going there and how she did everything and just kind of bring it to our community, because I think, you know, we talked about this last week, but everybody in this group, the amount of knowledge you have is so much more than just the average business owner in terms of marketing and digital presence online. And you all should be getting paid for that, just like Jacqueline is. And so just having a little clarity on how she did that, I think is going to be very, very helpful and valuable to everybody here. So excellent work, Jacqueline. She's someone said that she's been keeping me revisiting this group and keep my dream alive of being an offline consultant all in. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. What else did we want? What else should we talk about here, Nick? There was something else. But Jacqueline, right? Like Jacqueline's a really great example. Like she made a plan, she stuck to her plan. She's really focused on the fundamentals. She picked one thing that she wanted to do with social media. Like she stayed focused and she just, she did those little consistent things every day and she's continued to do that. So really awesome work. You know what we should do? We should give away a little bit of Cash App money. Let's do it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Cheating, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
Did I tell you I got a mainland bank account and I got my debit card is Darth Vader.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a Darth Vader debit card. It's awesome. He's got the red lightsaber. My daughter Sophie was like, "Oh my God, Dad."
Just an embarrassment to your children.
Yeah, pretty crazy. All right, so we should ask a question. Let's do you have a shark Cash App question, Nick? Or do you want me to pull one off the sheet here?
Yeah, why don't you ask a question this time? I always ask all the questions.
Okay, here. We haven't really talked about this on the show, but this can be a part of putting a plan together. It can be a strategy for that. And we do talk about it a lot in our trainings. But what does the acronym OPM, M as in money, stand for?
We've got a lot of good acronyms in this group. We really do.
OPM. OPM. Hey, here we go. Can you see who got it first there, Nick? Who's this? I see people that aren't logged in.
Yeah, you people that aren't logged in, you need to log in.
People are typing so fast, the spelling's a little off.
Sarah Moon.
Sarah. Congratulations.
Other people's Manwu. She's going fast. I can see the speed there, so I think we should just give it to her. What do you think?
I agree. Congratulations, Sarah. Yeah, one of the things we talk about this a lot in regards to prospecting, right? And having a plan for your prospecting and the way that we relate other people's money to building our agencies is that we focus on prospecting, right? Getting the client, getting paid first, and then using that money to handle the fulfillment and do all those things. So we don't actually have to come up with the money ourselves. Also, like our CCSU, the mailer thing, that's what that thing is all about, right? Like using the money you collect to do this thing, not having to put out any of your own money. So congratulations. That's great. I need more Manwu. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Sarah. That's great.
But that's such an important point that you're making there, Tom. And is anybody else doing that? Like, is anybody else collecting their money from their prospects? Or whenever you close a deal, are you sending an invoice? Are you getting paid? And then with that money, are you going out there, and whether that's through a software tool or through a white label company or a contractor that you've created some sort of arrangement with, are you using a little bit of that money to do your fulfillment for that service and then keeping a little bit? Because that's really the whole, that's how we do what we do, right? And until you get that straight, and I know a lot of you haven't, but until you really do go through it a few times and really get that concept nailed down, you're thinking, and I know this is true for me, the thinking is really just, it's compartmentalized into thinking you have to do everything. yourself, right? I sell a website and they're going to give me the money, but then I'm going to be on the hook to build the entire website. And it's scary if you keep growing your business in that way. I'll give you an example of the two wins that I posted about in the group. There were actually a couple of other wins that I didn't even really mention, but the two that I posted about in the group. So one of them is a website and a Google AdWords campaign. So let me share with you the logistics, the behind the scenes of what goes into that process of when that person comes in. So that person comes in, we make the sale, and I send them an invoice. As soon as they pay the invoice, then we know we're doing this, right? We're engaged. Like, until they pay that invoice, there's no reason to spend any more time on that lead other than following up and giving them anything else that they need to make them feel more confident or handling any objections to pay that invoice. So when they pay that invoice, website and Google Ads, right? We're going to use this as the example. I have a project manager. I have a website developer. I have somebody that runs Google Ads, and I have an assistant. I have all these people on my team. And so when somebody pays that invoice, I take that money and I pay a little bit of it to all of them, and then I keep the rest. So immediately they're able to get engaged themselves and start taking care of this process. And we have standard operating procedures in my business. Those of you that are Remote Millionaires partners, you all have those standard operating procedures, so you know how all that works. But basically, when somebody comes in, they pay the invoice. The next steps are all outlined in our standard operating procedures, but everybody gets paid to do all that work, and there's a profit for the company. And then we just scale that, right? The more customers that we bring in, the more money they make, the more money the company makes. So let's just focus on bringing in customers, right? Until we hit some sort of a bottleneck where the fulfillment is so overworked that we need to bring somebody else into the mix, and you just keep building. That's how you keep building your business.
Yeah, I see a couple of questions there. So Wayne Gilchrist asked, do we use invisible PPC for Google Ads fulfillment? So Wayne, we did for a long time because it was easier for us to outsource that work. Now we have we've hired somebody on our team to do it for us. So we've moved that in internally because we just want more control of that process. But we did use them for a long time, and it was there's different stages in your business, right? Like, there may be a stage if you're trying to just start out where you may want to do that. You may want to have, some companies that just do fulfillment work for you. But as you kind of get traction, you might want to bring that more internally and build out your own team. And that's kind of what we did there. So, it depends on what you're looking to do and where you're trying to go with. That's, whether it's better to build somebody in your own team or to bring in a third party. And sometimes you can do both. We had both for a long time, right? So, yeah.
Yes.
There was another one too. What was the other one? I was going to say, Sarah, if you just drop your cash tag in the chat or your PayPal email address, somebody on the team will get you squared away. Here's a question from Richard.
Richard says, have you guys got any advice about hiring a contractor and getting them to use a software for your agency? Yeah, I mean, we do that all the time, Richard. I mean, there's, so many softwares out there that I was talking to my dad the other day, my dad is old school, right? My dad turned 80. He turned 80.
Old school.
Isn't that crazy? My dad turned 80 last week.
Wow.
He had me, yeah, anyway, that's another story. I'm just blown away by that guy. But he's very old school, right? I can't even stress to you the amount of tech support that man hits me up for on a daily basis. I'm ready to hire somebody just to give him tech support. Seriously. Anyway, so there's so much. The reason I say all that is there's so many tools out there that help us do so many things. And if you're building a team, you're going to need to bring them up to speed. So what Richard is asking is actually a really good question. And the way that we do it most times is by creating some sort of an SOP, right? A standard operating procedure. And the way that we create SOPs is, So let's say I have a software that I want to use. Let's say it's I don't know. Let's say it's Bright Social, right? Like for those that don't know, Bright Social is a software tool that allows you to curate content and post it to your customer social media accounts. So while that software tool is very helpful and saves a lot of time, there's still some legwork to get it going. And if you're having a team use a tool for you, they're going to need to be brought up to speed on how you want them to use it for you. So what I do is I do the whole thing myself. I'll do the whole process myself, and then I will take notes for every step of the process. So I'll open up like a Word document or write it down. And the first thing I do to start an account, to bring in a customer, I enter all their information. I collect this data from them that I need. You have to document the entire process. And you can do that by creating a checklist in a Word document and then breaking it up into even smaller pieces and giving notes on why you're doing certain things the way you're doing it, so that anybody who picks up that standard operating procedure can read it and know how you want this task done exactly the way you want it, just by using that document. They don't even need to ask you how to do it. And sometimes you might even shoot a little Loom video for the little subtasks. Like, this is how I want you to curate this type of content, and then put the link in that SOP so that there's more clarity on all those little subtasks. You have to look at it when you're creating an SOP from the lens of like, whoever gets this is going to be, or could quite possibly be, a total newbie. And I don't want to have to ever go back and explain it ever again. This is the last time I'm ever going to ever explain this ever again for eternity. So what does this need to look like in order to accomplish that goal? And that's how we do it, Richard. Obviously, the shortcut to that, if you don't have all the time in the world, is to just shoot a Loom video and screen capture the whole process while you do it and give it to them. But that's eventually you're gonna have people that look at the video and still ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, and one way to know about what should you have SOPs around? Like, if you're doing all the work in your agency right now, you should be looking at the tasks that you do on a daily basis, the things that you find yourself doing over and over. Those are tasks that probably you should be outsourcing, right? And so a good place to start is by going through all the tasks you do on a daily basis and creating little videos explaining how to do them, so that you can just let somebody watch those videos and train them up on the task, right? And like Nick said, you don't have to start with a written out SOP. You can just start with having private videos on a YouTube channel that you can give them access to. Or we set up, like in the beginning, we had like a ClickFunnels. We made a ClickFunnels members area for our team, and whenever somebody joined the team, they got access to that members area, and inside were the videos on various things. But with what Nick was talking about, Richard, and I know, Richard, you have access to this because you're one of the Remote Millionaire partners, but just take a look at this, just so you guys can see exactly what Nick's talking about. So this is the social media SOP for the agency, right? And you can see on here, there's, creating and scheduling social content for a client so that they have daily postings and are able to review them in a CRM where they can approve or reject before posting. So we use Bright Social. So this is exactly what Nick was talking about. But look, you can see step one, right? You create a content package in Bright Social. Here's a quick video on how to do it, right? And then they can go to this video. And then this walks them through the entire process. Step two, step three. Here's everything they're going to need to be successful, right? With links to everything. So this is actually a shorter one. There are, just look at all of these SOPs, right? We have them for everything. So
don't show them all those, Tom. Dorn's already asking if they can zoom in so you can copy it. That's not fair, Dorn. That's proprietary that's secret squirrel stuff.
We're done. I'm out. I'm out of them. I've erased that entire folder. Nobody can find it ever again. But that's what we're talking about. But again, right? Look, guys, Nick and I did not start with that, right? What you just saw there took Nick and the team a year to put together. We were doing that in the background during most of COVID. Up until that point, we were doing just what we said. We had a little members area. We were shooting Loom videos. We didn't just start, we didn't just write all that stuff out before we did anything else. it's a progression, and that's the end result of doing that stuff over and over and over, and going through all the mistakes and going through all the, the miscommunications and all that stuff to get those to that point. So, you don't expect, if you're just starting out, for your stuff to look just like that. But that's all, that's also why, if you don't have a plan, you should look for somebody who's got the plan, and then you should follow them, right? Like, look for somebody who has the plan and follow them. As you guys know, you see in the group every day, like, the agency in Hawaii, we're getting clients every week. We're doing this stuff on a daily basis. It's obvious that we have an actual plan and it works. So we're a pretty good spot to follow and absorb and learn from and all that stuff, because you can just follow our plan. Now, you're probably going to have to change it. It may not work exactly the same for you, but it's a start and you have a plan, right? So Nick, maybe we should show them here. Let me show you guys this real quick. So if you guys want to get the bonus that Nick talked about, which is the recording of the calls of him closing that $1,500 a month Google Ads client, right? Here's what we've been talking about this week in the emails: offlinesharks.com/blitz. And let me just show you what this is, guys, just so you can see. So it's 3 products that are typically a couple of $100 each, but we've discounted them, right? So you can see here, local fee finder. Again, this is a software that allows you to put discovery forms on your website. So like if you go to if you go to Nick's website and you see up here in the right, I don't know why my internet has been going so slow. These discovery pages here, these are all done from local fee finder. So it instantly creates these pages. They're already all done and filled out that you can add to your website for website, SEO, social media, Google. I think there's some other ones that aren't here because Nick doesn't offer them in his agency, but we do them other places with direct mail, things like that, right? So that's one of the products. Fast Cash website audits, how to do the audits, and then remote client system, which is the course on how to make the little video audits and send them out for prospecting. So 3 really great products. You can get all of them for a very big discount. And then there's also a private bonus offer you can see there as well. We're only going to be running this for a few more days. So, if you want to grab the bonuses and get what Nick talked about, you're going to need to head over to that link, offlinesharks.com/blitz. Pick one of the products up now and we'll get you taken care of.
I just downloaded all the calls, everybody. So I'll have those set up. For those of you that already picked up anything in the Blitz, you'll get those.
We'll get it to you, yeah.
And then for those of you that are going to pick one up, then we'll get you those. Let's see.
Yeah, awesome. Any new questions or anything before we wrap this one up?
Jacqueline, just shoot me a message. Let's see.
Oh, there we go. Oh, man. Trying to
Dorn said, yeah, a lot of our stuff, everybody, it's all kind of tied together in some way. Dorn's talking about the audit is a great course, and local fee finder is a great way to send people to pre-qualify them. Remote client system is a great way to do your outreach. And the reason all these things work so well together is because as Tom and I have grown our businesses and the things that we've done, we've needed to grow in different ways. We needed a better prospecting method. And when we started doing prospecting and people came in, we realized, we'd waste a lot of time on people that didn't have a budget. So we needed to find out a way to pre-qualify. So all the stuff that we do is really just, it's born out of the frustration of doing the daily deal that we do at Offline Sharks and having agencies. So it all always kind of compounds together, comes together in one way.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff we talk about too, they're fundamental things that are super evergreen. What's interesting is it's amazing to me how many things we were doing pre-pandemic because they were the fundamental right things to do, right? Like they were just good marketing strategy. They were solid. They were proven things. And then when the pandemic hit, they became even more valuable. The remote client system was one of those. Like that's a course we put out pre-pandemic, but it was all about how to prospect remotely. At the time, little did anyone know that would be the only way you could prospect one day, right? Like there was a period of time where that was the only way you could do it. And like we already had that in our toolkit and we're able to do it. So, that course I think is even more relevant. It's even more relevant today than it was at the time we released it. Our influencer sites, all that stuff, same thing. Like those became even more relevant. And they were already good, but it just like the pandemic kind of like made them even stronger. So awesome. Well, man, this has been a really great live show. You guys have great questions, awesome feedback. Been fun hanging out with you on this Friday. Go ahead, Nick.
We got one more giveaway real quick before we get out of here.
Oh yeah, one more giveaway. Hold on. Let me play the song. Here we go.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, bling, bling, chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
So for those of you that were
talking no matter.
So for those of you that were here at the beginning of the call and we did our shout outs and we're nice enough to go into our Facebook group and congratulate everybody that, killed it this week. We have 2 winners that we gave Cash App money away to at random. So Miss Darla and Rick Elwood, congratulations. And thanks for showing your support.
Yeah, congratulations. Awesome. Oh, you wanted some applause. There you go.
Yeah.
I was sleeping on the applause cue. Sorry. Congratulations. Awesome. Well, man, another really great live show. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Talked about a lot of great stuff, a lot of great questions. Excited to join you here next Friday. Same shark time, same shark channel. In the meantime, check us out in the Facebook group. Head over to offlinesharks.com/blitz. Check out the Blitz deal we've got going on. And we'll see you inside the Facebook group. And if you need us for anything, you can reach us at offlinesharks.com/support. And we will see you guys next week. And I'm going to cue the outro.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly local marketing jam session. Every week, packed full of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's podcast at tomgaddis.com. We'll be back here next Friday for another Sharks Live Show. Until then, aloha.